Betelgeuse is a red supergiant star in the constellation Orion. Its size and brightness have long fascinated both cosmologists and people who just like to look at the stars. If Betelgeuse were to be placed where our Sun is, it would stretch out to the path of Jupiter, which proves that it has titanic features. At about 642 light-years away from Earth, it is one of the brightest stars that can be seen with the human eye because of its huge size. Recently, Betelgeuse has been acting in strange ways, like suddenly getting darker and brighter. Many scientists think this means the star is getting close to the end of its life. Well-known scientist Brian Cox recently said something important. Betelgeuse is about to explode in a way that will destroy everything in its path. This is expected to happen within the next 2 weeks. This event, called a supernova, will be the end of Betelgeuse's life. However, it will give scientists a unique chance to study one of the rarest and most powerful things in the world. The star Betelgeuse is a red supergiant, which is one of the biggest and heaviest types of stars in the universe. It is a supergiant that is about to explode. Astronomers have been aware of it for years, but recent changes in its light have led to rumors that the star is about to go supernova. When a star like Betelgeuse hits the end of its life, its core collapses under its own weight. This causes a huge explosion that sends a huge amount of energy, radiation, and stellar material into space. It is expected that Betelgeuse will explode in a Type II supernova, which is a type of stellar explosion that happens when the core of a huge star falls apart. Neutrinos and radiation are released when the core collapses. This makes a shock wave that breaks the star apart. The explosion will be so bright that people on Earth might not even need binoculars to see it. For weeks or months, it might even be brighter than the moon in the night sky. A similar event would normally be very bad if it happened close to Earth, but Betelgeuse is about 642 light-years away. So even though the explosion will be seen and be very impressive, it won't be dangerous to life on Earth. But this event looks like it will change how we think about supernovae and other cosmic events. A supernova is one of the most powerful events in the world. In just a few seconds, it releases more energy than the sun does in its whole life. The bursting of Betelgeuse will be a beautiful sight in the sky and a big deal in the history of science. Scientists want to watch this interesting event from the start and are using a variety of ground and space-based cameras, such as the Hubble Space Telescope and the James Webb Space Telescope, JWST, to gather as much information as they can. When Betelgeuse explodes, it will send out a lot of different kinds of radiation, from light that we can see to gamma. The rush of neutrinos, which are mysterious subatomic particles that don't usually interact with matter, will be one of the most important parts of the supernova. Neutrinos from a supernova can get to Earth before the light from the explosion because they can go through almost anything without being harmed. Observatories like the Ice Cube Neutrino Observatory in Antarctica and the Super Kamiokande Observatory in Japan are getting ready to find these neutrinos. This will give us a head start on watching Betelgeuse's last moments. The blast will also give us important information about how heavy elements are made. Elements like iron, gold, silver, and uranium are made and spread out when stars explode. These are things that are necessary for life as we know it. Studying Betelgeuse's supernova will give us real-time views of this process of making elements, which is very important for understanding how planets change over time and the chemistry of the universe. No harm is expected to come to Earth from Betelgeuse's supernova, but it will have interesting effects on our atmosphere and magnetic field. As a result of the blast, a lot of energy was released, including cosmic rays and charged particles. These could make the auroras stronger and make it possible to see them in more places. These cosmic rays could mess up satellite signals and some technologies here on Earth, but the problems should be small and short-lived. One of the most exciting things about Betelgeuse's explosion is that everyone on Earth will be able to see it, not just professional scientists with high-tech gear. Betelgeuse will likely be the brightest object in the sky for weeks or even months. It might even be visible during the day. Not only will scientists be amazed by this show, but so will amateur astronomers and the general public. It will spark a new interest in astronomy and the world. Cosmologists have been guessing for a long time that Betelgeuse is going to die, but Brian Cox's latest announcement makes the matter seem much more urgent. Observatories all over the world are getting ready to study every part of the supernova. The The scientific information that is gathered will be very useful and could change how we think about the evolution of stars, core-collapse supernovae, and the spread of matter in the universe. Scientists will be able to improve their models of cosmic lengths thanks to Betelgeuse's supernova. Being close to Earth makes it possible to measure how the energy from these blasts moves through space. Cosmologists will get a better idea of how big the universe is by watching how the supernova's light and radiation interact with the cosmic medium, which is made up of gas and dust between the stars. In particular, this event will be a once-in-a-lifetime chance to look into dark matter and how it might affect the way supernovae explode. Dark matter is a mysterious material that makes up about 85% of the universe's matter. It doesn't give off or take in light, which makes it hard to find. We might learn more about the role dark matter plays in the structure of the universe as a whole by looking at how light and matter behave around Betelgeuse after it explodes. Betelgeuse's supernova will also help us learn more about how stars die and come back to life, especially how big stars help make the elements that life needs. Supernovae are the main cosmic events that send heavy elements out into the universe. These are the elements that are used to make new stars, planets, and even living things. By looking at Betelgeuse, scientists will learn important things about how these elements are made and spread. The explosion of Betelgeuse has a huge societal meaning. People have looked to the stars for hundreds of years to find direction, meaning, and even inspiration. When one of the brightest stars in the sky goes out, it will make people think about how short life is. Betelgeuse has always been in the constellation Orion, since people started writing down the names of the stars. Its absence will be a powerful sign of how quickly everything changes. These kinds of stellar events have been seen as omens or signs of big changes in the universe in some cultures. At the end of its life, Betelgeuse may make people from all walks of life feel a mix of awe, fear, and wonder. This big event is likely to get people interested in space exploration and astronomy again, which will lead to more people wanting to learn more about the world. Modern technology lets almost anyone with a camera or telescope watch and report on the supernova, so amateur scientists are already getting ready for it. By making science more accessible to everyone, people from all over the world will be able to watch and record the same cosmic event from their own unique points of view. The explosion of Betelgeuse is not only a unique event in the history of astronomy, but it also serves as a starting point for further study. The supernova gave us information that will help us learn more about other stars, especially as we send missions to other worlds and stars farther into space. It is very important for humans to understand how stars die and how supernovae work if they want to spread their influence in the solar system and beyond. The blast will also spark new interest in the search for life beyond Earth. Supernovae are very important for spreading elements like carbon and oxygen that are needed for life all over the world. By looking into the explosion of Betelgeuse, scientists can learn more about how the building blocks of life could spread to other planetary systems and maybe even start life in other parts of the world. Betelgeuse is about to explode, which will be one of the most important events in recent astronomy. Its supernova will give scientists a lot of information that will help us learn more about the world, but it will also amaze people all over the world. Betelgeuse's death will mark the end of a huge star, but it will also be a sign of how the universe is always being made and destroyed, and how new stars, planets, and even life itself can come from death. The world will be watching the night sky as we get ready for this historic event, waiting for one of the universe's most powerful forces to explode into view. Betelgeuse's last trip will be very moving for both experts and people who just like to look at the stars. As Betelgeuse gets closer to the end of its life, one of the more speculative but interesting ideas about its upcoming explosion is that it might help explain some of the biggest mysteries in the universe, like dark matter and dark energy. Scientists still don't fully understand these mysterious forces, even though they are thought to be responsible for most of the universe's mass and energy. Some people think that supernovae like the one that is expected from Betelgeuse could help solve some of these puzzles. A supernova sends out a huge amount of radiation and energy, and some scientists think that these strong forces might combine with dark matter in ways that we can see and study. One interesting idea is that dark matter is made up of massive particles that interact loosely, WIMPs. If WIMPs exist, how they react to the energy from Betelgeuse's supernova could help us figure out what they are. Nature. Such an interaction would be a huge find because it would give scientists the first clear proof of dark matter, a concept they have been trying to understand for decades. For the same reason, Betelgeuse's explosion might shed light on dark energy, the unknown force that is speeding up the expansion of the universe. Researchers could learn a lot about how cosmic events like supernovae affect the growth of the universe and how they might interact with dark energy by looking at how light and energy behaved from Betelgeuse's supernova. The approaching explosion of Betelgeuse will give us a new way to look at the life cycle of massive stars, which are very important to the universe as a whole. Because red supergiants like Betelgeuse are so rare in the world, studying them is important for learning about how stars change over time. These stars are made up of clouds of gas and dust that fall apart because of gravity. Eventually, nuclear fusion starts to burn in their centers. As their hydrogen fuel runs out, they grow bigger and stronger solar winds peel off their outer coats. This loss of mass helps the cosmic medium change, which makes room for new stars to form. When Betelgeuse goes supernova, it will not only show us more about its own life cycle, but it will also be a great place to learn about how stars live and die. Scientists will keep a close eye on what happens after the explosion because a neutron star or black hole may form at the center. The makeup of this remnant will tell us a lot about the physical processes that control the last steps of stellar evolution. A lot of information will also be available from the way the blast works. There will be a shock wave from the supernova that will heat up the gas and dust around it and make it shine brightly. Iron, nickel, and other heavy elements were made during the explosion, and this light will help scientists figure out what their names are. Scientists can find out how common and spread out these elements by looking at their spectral fingerprints. This helps us learn more about how they move through space and help make stars and planetary systems in the future. The chance of finding gravitational waves is another interesting topic. It's possible that as the core collapses and the explosion happens, it will cause ripples in space-time that LIGO and Virgo can pick up on. Gravitational waves carry information about how the event moved, which could help us learn more about how supernovae and black holes form. The explosion of Betelgeuse could also lead to new technologies in the field of astronomy. The expected flood of observational data is likely to make astronomical tools more powerful than they are now. Imaging technology, data processing, and real-time analysis may get better because of this event. This could help a lot of different astronomical studies, not just the supernova. The public will need to be involved in Betelgeuse's supernova in order to spark a feeling of wonder and curiosity about the universe. This event can be used to inspire the next generation of scientists and physicists through educational programs, outreach efforts, and citizen science projects. Universities and schools can hold viewing parties, lectures, and discussions that stress how important it is to understand the world and our place in it. As people wait for this historic event, they are excited, both in the science community and among regular people. A lot of people are looking forward to seeing Betelgeuse's supernova. This shows how much people want to find out more about the world and the things they don't understand. In this way, the death of a star is a strong reminder of the universe's cycle of making and destroying things, which makes us think about our own lives and the mysteries that lie beyond.